In a world obsessed with being seen, there's something infinitely more powerful about being undeniable. In an age where everyone is screaming for attention, there's a deafening power in quiet competence. While others are busy chasing validation, recognition, and applause, the true masters are busy doing the work that makes validation irrelevant. The greatest sign of mastery, Alex Hormozi states with certainty, is when your skill becomes so exceptional that the world has no choice but to recognize it. This is the fundamental truth that most people miss. They obsess over how to get noticed instead of becoming someone worth noticing. They focus on the marketing before they've mastered the craft. They want the spotlight before they've earned the right to stand in it. Look around you. Social media platforms are flooded with people begging for attention. Everyone's a thought leader without any original thoughts. Everyone's an expert with minimal expertise. Everyone's an influencer with nothing substantive to influence people toward. It's all noise, endless, exhausting noise. But true mastery cuts through the noise like a laser through fog. True mastery doesn't need to announce itself. It demonstrates itself. As Alex puts it, don't tell me you're funny. Make me laugh. Don't tell me you're valuable. Show me your value. Don't tell me you're exceptional. Be exceptional. The market doesn't reward those who claim. It rewards those who deliver. It doesn't care about your intentions, your potential, or your dreams. It cares about results. It cares about what you can do, not what you say you can do. This truth applies across every domain of life: business, relationships, health, creative pursuits. The principles of mastery are universal, and they all start with the same uncomfortable realization. No one cares about you until you give them a reason to care. The world doesn't owe you attention. Alex reminds us bluntly. It owes you nothing. Attention must be earned through the delivery of exceptional value. This perspective runs contrary to our participation trophy culture. We've been conditioned to believe that showing up deserves recognition, that effort alone merits praise, that wanting something entitles us to have it. But the marketplace is brutally honest. It doesn't reward participation. It rewards performance. It doesn't reward good intentions. It rewards tangible results. And here's the beautiful irony. When you shift your focus from seeking recognition to developing mastery, recognition eventually finds you. When you stop worrying about being noticed and start worrying about being exceptional, being noticed becomes inevitable. Attention, Alex notes, is a byproduct of mastery, not a prerequisite for it. So what does the path to undeniable mastery look like? How do you become so good they can't ignore you? First, you must fall in love with the fundamentals, not just tolerate them, not just practice them. Fall in love with them. Every extraordinary performer, from athletes to artists to entrepreneurs, has an almost obsessive relationship with the basics of their craft. They don't see fundamentals as beneath them. They see them as the foundation upon which everything else is built. The virtuoso musician still practices scales. The champion fighter still drills basic combinations. The master chef still obsesses over perfectly cooking an egg. Not because they have to, but because they understand that mastery lives in the nuances of the fundamentals. Amateurs practice until they get it right, Alex observes. Masters practice until they can't get it wrong. This level of commitment to fundamentals isn't sexy. It doesn't make for compelling social media content. No one's going viral, showing themselves doing the same basic drills for the 1,000th time. But that's precisely where the separation happens. In the work no one sees, in the refinement that most would consider tedious. Second, you must embrace deliberate practice over mindless repetition. Simply putting in the hours isn't enough. How you spend those hours matters tremendously. Deliberate practice means working at the edge of your capabilities. It means focusing on your weaknesses rather than showcasing your strengths. It means seeking constructive feedback, especially when it's uncomfortable. It means analyzing your performance with ruthless objectivity. The quality of your practice, Alex emphasizes, determines the quality of your performance. Most people practice what they're already good at because it feels good. Masters practice what they struggle with because that's where growth happens. Most people avoid criticism. Masters actively seek it out. Most people defend their weaknesses. Masters expose them specifically to eliminate them. Third, you must develop an obsession with the details that others overlook. Mastery lives in the margins. It exists in the subtle distinctions, the small refinements, the tiny optimizations that, individually, seem insignificant but collectively create excellence. The difference between good and great isn't usually found in grand gestures or revolutionary approaches. It's found in the accumulation of marginal improvements applied consistently over time. Champions, Alex reminds us, are simply willing to do the little things that average performers consider too small to matter. This attention to detail extends beyond the technical aspects of your craft. It includes how you manage your energy, how you structure your day, how you care for your tools, how you select your environments, how you choose your influences. Masters understand that everything counts, that excellence isn't compartmentalized but comprehensive. Fourth, you must embrace the discomfort of constant growth. Mastery requires perpetually living outside your comfort zone. It demands continuously raising your standards as soon as you meet them. It means never being satisfied, never feeling like you've arrived. This is why so few achieve true mastery. The journey never ends. The moment you think you've mastered something is the moment you begin to decline. The moment you start believing your own hype is the moment you become vulnerable to someone hungrier, someone more committed to growth than you are. The master, Alex says, is always a student first. This mindset, this perpetual studenthood, protects you from complacency. It keeps you humble. It keeps you hungry. It keeps you learning, adapting, evolving when others plateau. Fifth, you must be willing to sacrifice short-term recognition for long-term mastery. This is perhaps the hardest principle for most to embrace in our instant gratification culture. Developing world-class skill takes time. It takes thousands of hours of focused, intentional practice. It takes years of refinement, failure, adjustment, and growth. During this time, you will likely receive little external validation. You may watch others with flashier presentations, but less substance get the attention you believe you deserve. This is the true test. This is where most people break. They can't stand the silence. They can't bear the lack of acknowledgement. They pivot to what gets immediate attention rather than continuing the unglamorous work of mastery. As Alex puts it, the path to greatness is paved with obscurity. Are you willing to toil in obscurity? Are you willing to do the work when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when no one seems to care? Are you willing to trust that your skill, developed to an exceptional level, will eventually speak for itself? Because that's what the masters do. They don't need constant affirmation. They don't require regular applause. They find their validation in the work itself, in the pursuit of excellence for its own sake, not for the recognition it might bring. Real masters, Alex observes, would do the work even if no one ever knew their name. This represents a profound shift in motivation, from extrinsic to intrinsic, from external validation to internal standards. It's moving from, I want others to think I'm good to, I want to be good by my own definition of good. It's valuing personal standards over public opinion. And here's the paradox. When you reach this state, when you truly don't need recognition anymore, that's precisely when you become most likely to receive it. When your motivation transcends validation, your work takes on a quality that makes validation inevitable. The moment you stop chasing recognition, Alex notes, is often the moment your work becomes impossible to ignore. We see this pattern repeatedly with those who achieve extraordinary success. They weren't seeking fame or attention or applause. They were obsessed with their craft. They were consumed by the pursuit of excellence. They were focused on creating value, solving problems, developing skills that would make them indispensable. And then, almost as a surprise to them, the world took notice. But what does this path look like in practical terms? How do you apply these principles in your daily life, regardless of your field or pursuits? First, start by brutally honest self-assessment. Where are you actually at in your development? Not where you'd like to be, not where you tell others you are. Where are you really? Most people, Alex says, overestimate their ability and underestimate what's required for mastery. This honest assessment isn't about beating yourself up. It's about establishing a true baseline. It's about removing delusion from your development path. You can't get where you want to go if you don't know where you're starting from. Next, identify the fundamental skills in your field that, if mastered, would make you undeniable. Every domain has them, the core competencies that separate the elite from the average. Focus there first, not on the flashy advanced techniques that might get attention, but build on a shaky foundation. Then, structure your learning environment for maximum growth. Seek out the best mentors you can find, people who will tell you the truth, not what you want to hear. Put yourself in environments where you're the least skilled person in the room. Expose yourself to standards far beyond your current capabilities. Your potential, Alex reminds us, is largely determined by who you choose to put around you. Make deliberate practice a non-negotiable part of your daily routine. Block time for it. Protect that time ferociously. Approach it with full presence and intention. Track your progress objectively. Seek feedback constantly. Adjust based on that feedback. And perhaps most importantly, fall in love with being unknown while you develop your craft. Embrace the privacy that obscurity provides. Use this time to experiment, to fail, to refine without the pressure of public scrutiny. Don't rush to market yourself before your product, you and your skill is ready for market. Build in silence, Alex advises. Let success make the noise. This approach runs counter to everything our social media culture promotes. We're told to build in public, to share our journey, to create content documenting every step. And for some, that approach works. But for many, it becomes a distraction. It splits focus between developing skill and showcasing skill. It creates pressure to present perfection when the messy reality of mastery requires embracing imperfection. There's profound freedom in building privately, in developing your craft away from judgmental eyes, away from the pressure to perform or present before you're ready. There's power in the cocoon phase of your development, where transformation happens in darkness before the butterfly emerges. Remember, the world will judge you not by how long you've been working, not by how much you want success, not by how much you believe in yourself. The world will judge you by what you can do, by the problems you can solve, by the value you can create, by the results you can deliver. In the marketplace, Alex states plainly, results are the only language everyone understands. This is simultaneously harsh and liberating. Harsh because it eliminates excuses. Liberating because it creates clarity. The path forward isn't complicated, it's simply challenging. Become exceptional, and the recognition will follow. Develop undeniable skill, and being ignored becomes impossible. And here's the beautiful truth most miss. When you focus on mastery over noise, you don't just change how others perceive you. You change how you perceive yourself. You develop a quiet confidence that doesn't require external validation. You build a relationship with your work that transcends public opinion. You find fulfillment in the process itself, not just in the recognition it might bring. True confidence, Alex explains, doesn't come from others believing in you. It comes from you knowing what you're capable of because you've proven it to yourself repeatedly. This is the ultimate freedom, to be unconcerned with others' opinions because you know your worth. To be unfazed by rejection because you know your value. To be unbothered by being overlooked because you know it's only temporary. So let others fight for attention. Let them clamor for recognition. Let them make noise in desperate attempts to be heard. You focus on mastery. You obsess over your craft. You commit to becoming so good at what you do that the world has no choice but to take notice. Because in the end, skill speaks louder than words. Results speak louder than claims. Value speaks louder than noise. And mastery, true mastery, doesn't need to announce its presence. It simply arrives, and when it does, the world stops to take notice. As Alex Hormozi would say, don't beg to be chosen. Become so good they can't ignore you.